Welcome to PEP Talks with Eric, the podcast where self-work becomes system work. I'm your host, Eric Ayers, creator and author of SimRx, Transforming Healthcare, Leadership, and Culture by Design. This show is your space to shift perspectives, ignite action, and remember who you are and who we are in the process. Every week, we spark transformation, from burnout to breakthrough, from surviving to designing. You'll hear real stories, real tools, and real humans doing real work. So let's shift, let's build, and let's spark what's next together. I'll see you inside. Welcome to another episode of PEP Talks with Eric. I'm your host, Eric Ayers. Today, we're going to be talking about something amazing. At least in my opinion, it's pretty amazing. So, what if every day was bring your 5-year-old self to work day? Think about it. I'm out here in my office of the day to bring you fun, curiosity, and shift a mindset into something so profound. I think you can shift not only the way that we work, but the way that we interact with one another and the way that we work as a team. So again, welcome to the show. And we're going to focus on bringing your 5-year-old self to work every day. Now, what would that look like? Think about it. You know, we have these things to where it's bring your kid to work day, which is awesome because we get to see how our kids interact with our job. You know, and they like the stapler, they like the things that are within the office because they feel grown up. But take it one step further, actually multiple steps further. Let's dive deep into remembering who your 5-year-old genius was. All right? So what if every day was bring your 5-year-old self to work day? This is absurd. I know it sounds crazy, but it's also brilliant. Why? Why is it brilliant? I remember as a 5-year-old when we were out on the playground and we picked teams. Didn't matter what we were doing. Were we playing kickball? Were we in the sandbox? Were we on the playground? Were we coloring, painting? It didn't matter. Once everyone was on the team, we all began to do what we knew how to do. No one had to ask us to do anything. No one had to point us in the right directions. We innately showed up as we were, full genius, full amazingness, and we did what we knew how to do. What happened from that? Well, the team allowed us to do what we needed to do, to tap into our genius, to our gifts, to our innate ability to whatever it is, coloring the greatest, brightest colors within the line, drawing the perfect circle, or coloring outside the line, drawing imperfect circles, kicking home runs on the kickball team, getting an RBI on the kickball team so someone could come in. Like, it didn't matter. If we're in the sandbox, you might have been way better at building sandcastles than I was. I was really good at making sure that it was sturdy because I would knock it down and be like, we got to fix this. But everyone worked together. And that's the brilliance of this, because we all have an innate, brilliant genius within us that our 5-year-old already knows about. And they don't have to be permitted. They already know. So why do we only allow joy sometimes once a year, if that? Because that's what leads our 5-year-old self. You know, when I got picked to be on the kickball team, I was joyful to be included in part of the team. I didn't have to be the best. I didn't have to showcase my attributes on, the longtime best home run hitter in the school. I didn't have to do that. I just simply had to show up and play because we were all there to do that. So that brings joy. Wait a minute, let me rephrase that, because it doesn't bring joy, it expresses the joy that we already have. Our 5-year-old self is full of joy, right? If we look at Hawkins' map of consciousness, there's a level above anger that begins at, I think, neutrality, and then it goes up. Peace, joy, love. That's what we're born with. We're born in these energies, and then we shift to the lower energies. Our 5-year-old self knows that. So when we bring this 5-year-old self to our workplace, we're already one step ahead. Actually, we're like miles ahead. And we invite others to bring their 5-year-old self. Remember your 5-year-old self. Who were you? What did you like? What did you do? What did you interact with? Who did you help? Me as a 5-year-old, I was adventurous. I don't know if you could tell. Super adventurous. Wanted to skate the outskirts of the boundaries. I needed to see how far I could go. And I needed to know what I could bring within these boundaries. So I needed to sketch it out and highlight it. And I felt like I needed to grab all the information, and then I can make a plan of action and then act upon that. And at the same time, once I understood the boundaries, I was very spontaneous. I was very, let's do it. Someone had an idea and no questions asked. Let's do it. That didn't work. Cool. How can I make it work? I did it like that, without questioning, without thinking. And that's who I was, which is actually who I am. That aligns so well with like my human design. It's almost odd how mirrored my 5-year-old self is with my actual blueprint of who I am. Why? Because I didn't think. That was pre-conformed. That was pre-paradigms. Like I was currently building this paradigm through the life and the cultures and the communities that I was interacting with. Family, friends, everywhere I interacted with created these paradigms. But I was in the middle of it. I wasn't quite conformed yet. This is who I was. This was me learning to interact with the world. And all I knew was the inputs that come into me. I just knew how to respond because this is who I am and this is how I react. That's a misuse of words. I didn't react. I responded according to who I was. It was quick responses, but my metrics was, who am I? And how do I do this? How do I interact with the world? And that's what's so dang cool. So let me ask you this question. What would your 5-year-old self think about your work today? How you showed up, the things you did, everything that you were associated with today. How would your 5-year-old self respond to that? What would they think about how you showed up to work today? Would they be like, oh, high five, bro, you're crushing it. Now let's go ride a big wheel and celebrate? Or would they be like, bro, where's the fun? You forgot about the fun. What would they say? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Just use your instincts to answer this. What would your 5-year-old job title be if it had a job title? I love this. This is a great icebreaker when you meet new people or you're facilitating something, is if your 5-year-old self had a job title, what would it be? Write down or say out loud the first thing that comes to mind. Is it Chief Curiosity Officer? Is it Director of Dinosaur Excavation? Is it joy engineer? Is it crayon visionary? Is it dragon trainer, backyard explorer, professional napper? I could crush that one. Is it rain puddle architect, snack acquisition specialist? I think me and a few of my friends probably shared that title. Professional hug giver, wonder facilitator, CEO of why. Everyone knows a 5-year-old or a 3-year-old that says, why, why, why? They're so full of curiosity and they're figuring out the world that they're coming to us with questions, with interest, and figuring this out. So, what would your job title be? There's no wrong or right answer. This is intended to help you tap back into the true essence of who you are. Now, take that title. What would happen if your new title to your previous self, your known genius self, what would happen if that title, that person, guided your leadership today? Ooh. What would happen? Do you think maybe some more joy would enter your life? Do you think maybe that you would give others permission to join you in this exploration of play through work? Do you think you would begin to shift the culture, maybe just in your team or your department, or maybe just you in your work friend group? But these are micro moments to macro change. It's what we talked about last time. And this is part of it. This is me becoming we, because as I say, all right, little Eric, that's my name for my 5-year-old self. All right, little Eric, today I'm going to let you lead. Like, I'm the adult, so I have the structure in place of, your boundaries. But I'm going to let you lead. And let's see how it goes. Do you think that day is way better than, oh my God, I have so much to do. I have to do this, 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 and this, and everything's chaotic, and I'm doing everything but having fun. And I remember as a 5-year-old, if it wasn't fun, I didn't do it. There had to be fun. There had to be an imagination, my imagination, intertwined within what we were doing. And that's what the 5-year-old self brings, is imagination and joy and curiosity, all the fun things. So what happens when we leave all this behind? Well, we forget. We get further and further away from who we are. We begin to conform. We begin to control. We begin to actually become less efficient. We begin to force instead of allow. And we begin to burn out. So by bringing the 5-year-old self to work almost every day, we can't do it every day, but almost every day, that conformity is replaced by creativity. The control is replaced by connection. Efficiency is now led by empathy. And burnout is now replaced by brilliance, because our brilliance shines through. Because we have a core genius within us that is super brilliant. And it replaces our burnout. And it leads us into these sandbox values. So at age 5, our values were automatic. In last week, we talked to Romeo Imale about leading with values and understanding our values, right? And at 5, again, these values were automatic. We were invited into the sandbox. We did what we love, and organically, these teams created a masterpiece. This is what happens. There's no assessments. There's no overthinking. We didn't come into it and all of a sudden the leader of the 5-year-old group said, hey, we need to do this personality assessment to see how you fit within the team. No, we organically created our team. You know, we ultimately sat at the seats that we knew were saved for us. No one particularly saved them for us. They just said, hey, this seat is for this value. This seat is for this value. And we knew where to sit based on the needs of the group, the team, and ourselves. We knew where we were and what we were doing. We knew what was best for everyone in the team. So no assessments were needed. Only thing that was needed was us to take the step forward into the direction of the team. So we're stepping in with curiosity. And within this, I'm reminded of Rumi's quote that this quote probably comes in my mind at least 5 or 10 times a week, at least. Trade in your cleverness and purchase bewilderment. So sometimes assessments are good, personality assessments and these programs are good, but sometimes we overthink them. And what would happen if we shifted that and we traded that in for curiosity? We traded in and sold our cleverness, and then we purchased bewilderment. And we saw this through the eyes of how our 5-year-old self still sees the world. So what if your 5-year-old self came to work with everyone else's 5-year-old self? What could we co-create together then, as opposed to what we're currently co-creating? Now, we're doing some amazing things. I'm suggesting that we can enhance that even more if we were to tap into our 5-year-old selves together. All it takes is one. It takes one person to say, all right, I'm going to let my 5-year-old self lead. And then all of a sudden, everyone else in that team has permission to follow. And I'm going to pause here for a second. Is that not the ultimate meaning and base definition of leader? Is someone who takes one step and at least one other person follows? Leadership is not about having a status or title or climbing up on this specific org chart. Now, that can be part of it, but that's a secondary effect to an actual leader. There are 5-year-olds, literal 5-year-olds, that are leaders to me because they show me how to move forward in a direction that I can follow. That's a leader. And that's what I'm asking, that's what I'm proposing that we do right now at a different level, different scale. And this is Ubuntu in motion, right? This is me becoming a better version of myself because I'm with you and I'm learning from you. And likewise, you're with me and you're learning with and from me. We're in this together. And as I give you permission to move forward or follow me, chances are you're going to bypass me because you're going to hit this wave that just catapults you in front of me. And then you're going to offer me permission to follow you and you're going to become my leader. This is leadership. At the bare base foundation, this is what true leadership is. And when we lead from a place of curiosity, joy, play, and love, ultimately, this is love, we can shift the world. We can change the world. And actually what we're changing is we're remembering. We're remembering how it was in the sandbox. And we're bringing the sandbox back into the now. And this is what happens when we bring our 5-year-old self to work consistently. Now, when we bring these aspects back to the table, play fuels safety. We all feel safe because we're all playing now. There's no rigor rules. Now, we all know the rules and we know the baseline and we know what we have to do. We already know that. We already know the policies and we know we have to meet those policies, and we will. But play offers a safety for us to actually begin to work together. Curiosity sparks innovation. Actually, curiosity is the gateway to innovation. And something else is cool about curiosity. It eliminates your ability to judge. When we go into judgment, we no longer have the ability to coach or enhance someone else, and we actually negatively impact our energy because we're judging based on they're better or worse than us. And it becomes something totally different and so ego driven that I fall into it. We all fall into it. But if we replace judgment with curiosity, or we start with curiosity, we are not able to judge. But instead, we're able to innovate. And innovate is simply and profoundly moving beyond a current understanding of something. Whether it's our idea or someone else's, it's building upon that idea. Wonder builds collaboration, honesty builds trust, and compassion reshapes leadership. Yes, because if we care enough about one another, that means we care enough about ourselves, because that's where we started. We started with caring for self. That caring for self then transposed into caring for others. And as we do this, we begin to make ripples of compassion for others. And that ripple is us leading the world and leading our team and leading our people to whatever is next. And we replace pressure with play. Performance amplifies. I'm going to say that again. When we replace pressure with play, performance amplifies. Now, how does all of this fit into your work? Because, I mean, if you're a factory worker, if you're sitting at a desk all day, I know what comes to mind is, how do I incorporate this into what I do? And I guarantee you there's ways to do that. SimRx, for example, gives us permission to feel. And once we feel, we're able to shift. So how can you take what you're doing, maybe you call it mundane, maybe it's the same old, same old. Well, start by shifting your narrative. Start by replacing every time you say, God, so tired of doing the same old, same old. Instead, shift that to something like, oh, I'm excited for something amazing to be highlighted today. I'm excited for me to identify and find something so cool. It's going to shift the way that we do things around here. I'm so excited to share my story. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Whatever the excitement comes from, that becomes our focus. That becomes our curiosity. That becomes our gateway into innovation. And this is what SimRx is all about. The human-centric innovation creates curiosity and motion. So it's not like standardizing, but liberating potential. So ask yourself, how can you liberate your potential? How can you take your potential and take the training wheels off, take the leash off, take anything that's holding it back and let your potential go, right? I always say, like, we build the bike, we make this awesome process and we build a bicycle and we look at it and we're like, this is amazing. But a bicycle without a rider is like potential without purpose. We need both. And this is what your inner child, your 5-year-old self can bring to the table. So start with this question. What lights me up? What makes me so damn excited? I can't hold it in. And then how do I bring that to work? This can be as simple as throwing earpods in as you're working, and all of a sudden your favorite tune comes on and you hit pause on work and you jam for 3.5 to 4 minutes of the song. I guarantee you, after the song and you come back into work, you're a different person at a different energy level, and your 5-year-old self is like, yes, thank you. Thank you. I've been waiting all day for you to step out of the mundane and start having some fun. What happens if you do that? What lights you up? Could be reading, could be walking, could be just simply going outside and getting sunshine. It could be petting your dog. It could be having a conversation with your partner, with a friend. It could be enjoying a nice cup of coffee while it's still dark first thing in the morning. What lights you up? Whatever lights you up, do more of that, because that is who you are. And that is what your team needs in their next team meeting. So again, as we do this, as we arrive to work with 5-year-old self at our side, we begin to experience less burnout. Because how can you burn out if you're doing something that ignites you and lights you up? When I was introduced to design thinking, it gave me words to put to my process. And all of a sudden, everything shifted, because it gave me permission to bring my true essence to work. And that true essence is my 5-year-old self. And it pissed people off. People got mad because I was so energetic and I was so excited. I was so happy, and I was so focused on shifting things and creating a way that's so much better. And we were doing amazing things, but we could do better. And I knew that. My 5-year-old self knew that, and others knew that as well. But my burnout shifted, because as myself became realigned with myself, burnout dissipated. And burnout was not a thing anymore. And instead of burning out, I was burning bright. And it was amazing. And this ripples, because after that, it begins to affect the team, because safety and creativity enhances. And then our customers feel that. In the healthcare world, our patients could feel the difference. They could feel that I was vibing so high and I was lit up because I was tapped into who I am. I was able to provide whatever it was to my clients, my patients, and they could feel that. They could literally feel that. And this ripples into our kids. They witness the joy that we have in adulthood, which allows them this amazing butterfly flying around, and it allows them to not dim their light, but instead continue leading from that ignition. This ripples into our partnerships, our relationships, our spouses. We're able to be who we're supposed to be with them, and we give them permission to do the same for us. It's a different experience, and it's an innate understanding of two humans coming together to enhance one another's lives. And it's beautiful and it's amazing. And this ultimately ripples into our entire organization. We move from compliance into culture, and this curious culture is where shift happens, right? And it's amazing. So in closing, I'm going to ask, what if our mundane became the fundane? I know, super cheesy, but what if we shifted the mundane into the fundane? What if we brought fun to work? And that starts by bringing our 5-year-old self to work with us, because that person already knows how to have fun. We don't have to figure it out. We don't have to do a deep dive brainstorm sesh on how do we have fun at work. We simply take a few breaths, take a few minutes, tap into the true essence of who we are, and we let that person lead. And now the mundane is the fun day. And people are looking at you like, what the hell is he drinking? What is he doing? What is she doing? I mean, what does she think she's doing? And you're just going about your business, dancing, doing your thing, whatever the case may be. You're having fun and you're bringing fun to work, and you're shifting your current reality, because now, just like that, you're a different person. You're actually not a different person. You are the person you were intended to be. And from that, Ubuntu oozes into a culture, because I am, because you are, automatically, energetically infuses into everyone around you. So you don't need a sabbatical. You just need a spark. And the spark is, oh, little Eric, what do you want to do today? And then roll with it. All it takes is a spark. So I'm going to challenge you. Bring your 5-year-old self to one meeting this week. See what changes. Who knows? Maybe it shifts the entire organization to one that now is more productive, more profitable, more human-centric. More fun. Or who knows? Maybe you realize you're not living your true purpose, your true potential, and all of a sudden, the stars align, the light shines on what it is you're supposed to do every day for the rest of your life. And I have a secret for you. Your 5-year-old self already knew it. So, what happens when you bring your 5-year-old self to work every day or most days? You have fun and shift happens. So, let's try it. Let's freaking have fun. Let's ignite a new movement, a fun movement. And let's freaking change the world, man. I love each one of you. I appreciate you. And if you like this setting, because this is new to me, especially within the podcasts, if you like this setting and you want more of this type of podcast, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Reach out to me. Share this. Please share this so others can join the fun train to shift the mundane to the fundane. And let's get shift happening, man. Thank you for joining me in my office today. And I'm so excited to see you next time. And until then, be well, be loved. Thank you for listening to Pep Talks with Eric. If something sparked today, pass it forward. Remember to subscribe and share it with someone who needs it. Keep doing the thing. Keep showing up. You're not alone in this. And we're not whole without you. I'll see you next time.